Hello everybody, and welcome back to PokePaint, the series where I draw Fakémon to inhabit my fan-made Pokemon region based on the US state of Florida, the Gladios region. If you're all caught up with the series so far, you'll know that in the last video I started designing the gym leaders, as well as the teams that they would use in the story of this hypothetical Pokemon game concept. So today, we will be tackling the second of the 8 gyms, the Rock-type gym. Before I design the gym leader in question and talk about their gym and team, this is an appropriate time to draw the Pokemon line that will act as the ace for this gym, which also just so happens to be the regional rock, i.e. the Geodude or Roggenrola of this region. For context, this rock-type gym has a general science theme, and the team will reflect that. Not only will the leader be using fossil Pokemon that reference paleontology, but their ace will reference astronomy, as the famous Apollo missions were launched from Cape Canaveral in Florida. Specifically, the first form of this line will be a reference to meteors, or shooting stars. And although we already have a rock-type shooting star Pokemon in the main series, my concepts for the evolutions specifically are what separate this line enough from existing ideas for me to go through with it. When coming up with the initial designs, I had a vague concept of this evolution telling a story of a meteor Pokemon who falls to Earth and evolves into a crater/meteorite Pokemon who loses the ability to fly, who then evolves into a rocket Pokemon, regaining the ability to fly and returning to space. The first stage came out almost exactly as I pictured it, with a vaguely star-shaped body and tear streaks made out of flaming rock. I wanted this Pokemon to have a fearful look, as if it maybe didn't want to be falling out of outer space to the Earth, and the entire line would act as a sort of character arc of sorts, with both the physical appearance changing as well as the personality as it grows and changes. The names would be inspired by the different phases of meteors in astronomy. A meteor is a space rock that is currently falling from the sky, aka a shooting star, while a meteorite refers to one that has already fallen to the ground, while a meteoroid is one that is currently in space. Each stage of the line has a name that is influenced by these designations, while also including the periodic table abbreviation for iron, Fe, as iron is one of the most common elements found in meteors. Its shiny has a green flame to reference how meteors can change the color of their plasma tails depending on what they are made out of. Most meteors appear a white-reddish, as they are most commonly made out of a mix of iron and silicate rock. However, more rare meteors can shine other colors, green ones most commonly being composed of copper or magnesium. Feristor, the shooting star Pokemon. Through heavy research that originates from a lab in the Gladios region, it has been discovered that the Pokemon Feristor is not of this world, having originated from somewhere in interstellar space. There are ongoing studies being done, with the goal being to discern both where this creature is from originally, and also if it is related to any of the other Pokemon who are known to have extraterrestrial origins. Every year, our planet orbits through an area of space with a high concentration of meteors, causing the Feristor meteor shower that the Pokemon is named after. During this event, inert space debris fall to the Earth alongside this amazing Pokemon. You might notice in the Pokedex page in the map section, I've changed how I distinguish where these Pokemon can be found by putting a Pokeball there, as somebody commented that the green spot was kind of hard to see, so hopefully this is easier to see. The second stage went through a lot of design changes with the initial steps, and took on a lot of different forms as I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted this Pokemon to convey visually. I messed around with some more out there and overly alien looks that maybe hinted at Feristor itself being a shell or cocoon for the Pokemon inside, but I ended up dropping that idea as I really liked the original shape. From the beginning, its personality was what I had solidly fixed in my mind, and this was that it would be relatively sad for a Pokemon, and that it would look physically disheveled with one eye closed, hinting at where it is in its character arc of sorts, trapped on the ground and unable to fly because of its design origins in craters and meteorites. It would be stuck on Earth, so to speak. A second idea that I came up with was more related to the alien part of its design than the rock part, and that is that this Pokemon would go around stealing little mechanical parts to build something. This can be seen in one of the earlier sketches where I had it holding a stolen rocket part that dwarfed its body in size, like Tinkaton style, but I decided that that inclusion muddied this design too much, although I would end up keeping that general concept of scrap metal thievery in its backstory. The name Feristorite has the same origins from the first form, with the addition of the suffix "ite", which refers to meteors that have fallen to the ground. Feristorite, the crater Pokemon, and the evolved form of Feristor. It is theorized that their home planet must have a weaker gravitational pull than our world, as when a Feristorite falls to the Earth it loses the ability to fly. They make their homes in caves near industrial complexes or research facilities, and they only leave these caves at night to come out and scavenge. While they are awake, they will spend their time searching for scrap metal and machinery, which it hoards in small caves or ditches. Using the heat and pressure generated from the inside of their bodies, they can craft the scrap metal that they collect. It is thought that they do this with the hopes that they can build a device that will, one day, let them return to the sky. This final form I had actually begun developing while I was making the second form, as I thought that working on both of them at the same time would give me a better idea of the visual direction that I wanted to go. I always had the idea in my head with what I wanted the story of this evolutionary line to be about, meteor to meteorite to meteoroid rocket ship, but I didn't decide until very late in the process how I would convey these ideas visually. Once the second design was completed, however, I was very quickly able to come up with this form. The idea here was that the physical body would not change too much, however it would be carrying a massive rocket cobbled together from stolen parts on its back. While drawing, I imagined what this Pokemon would look like during side games like Pokemon Camp or Ami, where it could be seen walking around. Outside of battle, I imagined that this Pokemon would waddle around on its little feet with the massive rocket swaying above it. That image in my head was very cute, so I was super happy with the design. This stage would no longer be sad, rather for the first time shows a face with a positive emotion, excitement, as it blasts up towards the stars. I changed its type to dual steel fire instead of rock fire, as I felt that made more sense for the rocket imagery. But honestly, I went back and forth on keeping it rock type a few times in production, so tell me what you think in the comments below. The name Feristoroid has the same origins as the other two, however it refers to a class of meteor that is still in space. Feristoroid, the rocket Pokemon, and the evolved form of Feristorite. Using their otherworldly intellect, they collect scrap metal and discarded machinery from humans in order to build a device that they wear on their back that allows them to fly. They carry this massive rocket-like pack everywhere they go, and because of the heavy pack, when they walk around on the ground, they waddle adorably under the weight of their creation. They channel the compressed fire that naturally occurs inside their bodies into their makeshift rocket pack, which they use to propel themselves to heights where they can leave the atmosphere and return to space. It is notable, however, that most Feristoroid have the ability to leave Earth, but usually choose to stay, so any trainer who has a Feristoroid can rest assured that even though their little friend may occasionally leave our world, it is almost always for a temporary journey to the stars. I am really happy with the Feristor line. I don't know if it's because it's the first new Pokemon line that I've drawn for the Gladios region in a month and a half, but I really love these designs. Let me know what you think and if you would add Feristor and its evolutions to your team. Moving on from the ace to the gym leader, I had a very clear idea of designing a gym leader that was basically a professor, taking inspiration from both paleontologists and NASA laboratory scientists. In the end, I'd lean way more into the later idea, as even though the theme of the gym was general sciences, the ace is an alien and the gym is across the street from a rocket pad, so yeah, there's definitely more NASA/Cape Canaveral inspiration going on here. Visually, I imagined this gym leader to be very similar in appearance to Fennel, the minor character from the Pokemon Black and White games who was studying Luna's Dream Mist. And I decided really early on that I wanted to go crazy with the hair, and that I wanted to see some space shapes in it, like a messy bun that looked like a planet with rings, and some crazy reverse anime bangs that would be in the shape of a crescent moon. Making the dark spots of her hair sparkly was just the final touch that made this design right for a space-themed character. Developing further from one of the ideas that I had for the first gym leader, the second would store her Pokeballs on the belt loops of her lab coat. Going on, I'd like to make unique Pokeball storage designs for each trainer to make them feel more unique, but unite them in that visual idea. Her name would be Gym Leader Luna, Luna being a name for our moon, which is, if you think about it, just a rather big rock in space, which fits her rock type very well. So now that I've designed the ace and the gym leader, it's now on to the real meat of the video, in designing the gym where all of these ideas will come together. After having received the Baylor badge from Gym Leader Silent on the Grestate Ranch and making your way through Mount Astro, you would find yourself in Fopalo Town, the site of the second gym. The interior of the gym would, surprisingly for a rock gym, be very clean and pristine, like a laboratory/NASA vehicle construction warehouse. Trainers here would use Pokemon like Onix, Sudowoodo, Feristor, Solrock, Lunatone, Elgyem, and Clefairy, not all of them being super adherent to the rock type. In the puzzle here, you would have to battle these trainers while tracking down one of each member of the Feristor line. Each of them would be hiding metal parts that you could take to place back into a set of gears that would turn a giant model of the solar system. When all of the planets were aligned, you could walk across each of the planets like a bridge to get to Gym Leader Luna. Like said in the last video, this hypothetical game concept would have a normal and a challenge mode. In normal mode, Luna has two Pokemon. Leading off with a level 19 Slothal with the ability Slow Start, it has the moves Rest for recovery, Rock Polish to raise speed, Ancient Power for stab, and Slash for general coverage. After Slothal would be Luna's Ace, a level 21 Feristorite, with the ability White Smoke. Smokescreen would be to lower your accuracy, and Rock Polish raises their speed. Rock Blast is a stab move that allows the user to hit 2 to 5 times in a turn, and Accelerock is a powerful stab move. In the Challenge Mode team, there is a third Pokemon added, a level 20 Pernamel with the Hypercutter ability and the moves Bite, Rock Polish, and Ancient Power. In this challenge team, Slothal gets a level buff to level 20 and has the move Slash replaced with Sleep Talk, which means Slothal can attack even while it's asleep. Feristorite also gets some buffs in this version, not only as it's 2 levels higher at level 23, but Rock Blast is replaced with Flame Charge, a fire stab, and it is holding a Citrus Berry for healing. If you could manage to defeat Gym Leader Luna in either one of her Rock-type teams, you will have won the battle, and as a reward, you get the TM for Rock Polish. Every Pokemon up to level 30 will obey you, and you would win the Astro badge. I hope you all enjoyed the second of the 8 gym leaders that call this region their home. Last time I didn't draw the badge for the first gym, as I didn't think most people would even care to notice, but to my delight, a lot of you actually commented about their absence and asked for their inclusion. So behind the scenes, I cooked up 8 badges and will be slowly revealing them as the series go on, as if you were actually earning them by defeating the gym leaders, which I think is kind of a fun way to do it. Next time, we will be tackling the Fire Gym in Soleil City, but until then, thank you for watching. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters STE and Alan Michael White, who helped make this channel what it is by supporting me on Patreon. If you want to join them in their support of PokePaint and other projects we have going on this channel, you can do so there by getting early access to my content and getting a shout out at the end of these videos. The support gets me closer to making YouTube and the creation of these videos a full-time commitment. The link is in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, then leave a like, and if you want to see more like it, then subscribe, and turn on the bell to get notified when I upload next.